Hi, in today's video, we're going to explore the answer to the question, why do athletes struggle with mental health? We're going to look at all the factors that go into creating positive mental health and what those struggles are at the core level, but also we'll dig a little bit deeper. So stay tuned for that. The first part of this video, we're going to delve in a little bit into the pressures that athletes are experiencing today. Then we're going to look at the lack of the habits around properly managing stress and anxiety, depression, and those kind of mental health issues. Third part, we're going to look at the expanded public eye and how much more athletes today can be under that public eye. Fourth, we're going to look at the impact that injuries can have on your mental health and dealing with injuries. Lastly, we'll look at sad and tragic example of an athlete whose mental health issues got the best of them. In today's world, we as a society put a lot of attention on athletes, right? They are held up. Your kids, when you have kids, you try to get them in athletics because of the attention and the accolades and all the perceived positive benefits that you get from being a star athlete, from people looking up to you and the relationships to, at the higher end, obviously, the fame and fortune that comes with it, that are things that people think are a good thing and would love to see their child claim those and reach those levels. But even stepping back from that a little bit, being able to compete at college and maybe get a college scholarship, and even step back a little bit more, especially in smaller, more rural areas, being that person who brings a high school state championship to your small rural town or your small high school. That could be the highlight of many people's careers, right? So we are indirectly, societally and culturally, there's a lot of pressure on young people to be good at sports because of those things that you think you can do and accomplish. And when not channeled properly, that pressure to excel doesn't just make you better and help you grow. When not handled well, it can actually cause you to melt under pressure. We also do a very poor job in helping athletes, but not just athletes. Again, if you listen to any of my videos, I'm talking about this with people in general, but developing what I refer to as success habits, right? This is the idea of where we're going to apply heat to our lives, habit, emotion, attitude training, where we're building habits around managing our emotions and our beliefs that impact and affect our attitudes and how we deal with pressure, how we deal with adversity, how we deal with failure, right? Because inevitably when you're involved in sports, those moments are going to come. And how you deal with that is really going to be the reflection of your character and your mindset, and then your mental health. When we have the habits built into our life that help us deal with any situation that comes up in life, then we have much more likely to become resilient to those trials and tribulations that come our way. The other thing that's happening in today's culture is exposure. Exposure is ever increasing primarily through social media. Yes, national media still has major exposure, particularly at the high level college, right? So if you think of D1 basketball, D1 football, that has major exposure, and then all the media attention and advertising and naming rights and all those kind of things that come with it. Social media has also played a huge impact on getting your name out, even in high school, local high school people. Whether there is a local paper nowadays or not doesn't really matter, because you don't need it to kind of be in the public spotlight, right? When you are the big guy on campus in a small high school in particular, even a bigger high school, but a small high school in particular, the pressures that are being put on you to excel, to bring that local community, that high school state championship, or what have you, is ever increasing, right? So all of that adds to that pressure cooker kind of environment that kids are experiencing today. With all this pressure to perform at your best and be your best, and modern weight training and athletic development has done a couple things. One, athletes are becoming bigger, stronger, faster. There's no question about that. But we're also seeing an increase in rate of injuries. And with injuries come the emotional and mental health aspect. Will I be as good as I was before? Am I ready to put in all that work, all the rehab? What's that going to do to my relationships, right? Some of the fear of getting hurt again. Oh, how will that impact my chance to play in college? Those factors always play into injuries. And as we've said in another video, right, the pressures to perform and excel, that if you aren't handling that well, the emotions attached to that can lead to more injuries, right? An NCAA study showed that athletes who experienced anxiety were 2.1 times more likely to get injured. So it's a double-edged sword, right? If your mental health isn't that strong to begin with, you're more likely to get injured. And then when you get injured, you have to deal with the mental health aspects that the injury brings along with it. Things about the intensity level of the rehab, the isolation from your teammates, the fear of getting hurt again, the fear of how it will impact your ability to perform at the highest level. All those things have an impact on your overall mental health and well-being that you have to be concerned with and address. Maybe the poster child for why an athlete would struggle with mental health would be Todd Marinovich. And Todd was, from the time he was born, he had a father who was determined to raise Todd to be an elite athlete. From nutrition and workout regimens and practice regimens and routine regimens that literally began as an infant with Todd. He was being groomed to be a great athlete. As Todd gravitated towards football, all right, that became the sport. Todd was going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Todd was buying into this to a certain extent, but his dad was really driving it to an extreme. And all of this pressure that Todd was under, and Sports Illustrated cover, high school athlete, big star at University of Southern California, first pick in the NFL draft, all the pressures that were being placed, all the media attention. And this was before social media, right? But all of that, trying to live up to expectations he was putting on himself, definitely the expectations his father was trying to drive on him, that just led to basically an impossible situation for Todd. And he started using drugs and alcohol to kind of appease the mental health problems he was having, to self-medicate. That became an addiction problem. It became a serious addiction problem, and his NFL career completely fizzled. So going from being the next great quarterback to the greatest quarterback of all time, being raised to be that, to being a drug addict and somebody who never fulfilled the promise, is the tragic example of what can happen or when you don't manage your mental health, and why, in his case, mental health collapsed, right? Being driven to excel, these unreasonable expectations, the spotlight, and all of those things are what did in Todd Marinovich. I invite you to subscribe to our channel and check out all our other videos. In particular, you might be interested in our video, How Social Media Affects Athletes' Mental Health. So check that video out today.